The book, The Dandelion and the Lost Boy. A book I'm intrigued by. I've been saying it, the illustrations intrigue me, and I'm going to just first of all talk about the illustrations. First of all, I saw what you sent to me earlier, and I've not really read it deeply because I wanted to give it my own interpretation to an extent and then bring in the author's work, the author's view as a support. I don't know if you get it. Okay, so the first thing about the illustration is, first of all, the guy is sitting down. That's the boy, the lost boy. Victoria, did you notice that we did not know the name of the lost boy until the end of the story? And please let me ask if Tunde or Tunde, I don't know. Okay, so but Tunde in Yoruba land actually. So we didn't know the name of the author till the end of the story when the Pandalion says, "So what's your name?" And that happens when they are on their way home. That happens that happens in chapter 5 when they are on their way home. So I'm jumping. I want to actually give it like a linear distance. So it shows that home the journey back home gives clarity. It gives you, it gives us as Africans, that's for adult readers, it gives us as Africans self-identity. We get clarity more. We get to know ourselves more. Oh, name is very important. So when a person has no name, the person does not have identity. And when you do not have identity, you do not know your self-worth. When in Yoruba land, when you are, there's something we call oriki eulogy. When you are eulogizing someone, a king, even me, if you're eulogizing this problem, I'll start spraying money. That's because you know my name to the deepest roots of the things that make me happy. And so for the Pandalion not to have a name, and I'm not surprised that he does not know his hidden strength. And that's why, God, that's why the Pandalion can live among monkeys. A lion and a panda staying in the midst of people who do not, I have to be um, deliberate in my choice of words, who do not have as much as this person has. What are we trying to say? Africans are embodied with so much hidden treasures that if we all can come together, if we all can, just be united, we will be better than where we are going to for greener pastures. I think I've selected my choice of words like that. Okay, so the first thing is that in the first illustration, he's seated crying. Now he started crying. Everywhere is dark. Where where he is seated is actually dark. There is just a bit of green, but where the guy is seated is majorly dark. With him crying. And for the adult readers, I would say that this is a state of loss. I think I've said this earlier. A dejected state for the of the African youth. I would say that this boy represent the African youth, and then we could also say it represents the African child. I mean, on the surface is an African child, and sometimes it's actually good to cry because crying, sometimes when you've cried and you're like, yes, when people are, if I see you crying, I'll just let you cry and probably tap your back. Maybe if she cries, most likely when the person cries, the person will know what to do next. So this is him showing a state of darkness with dark background, totally a state of confusion. um, and this reflects in the second illustration, a state of confusion which he is in, a state of dejection, a state of loss of purpose, of identity. And I will say that the reason Africa is like this is because we lost it at a point. The leaders lost it at the point, and then the youth are like, so what's the point? Let's just leave. So that's the first illustration. The back we can see tears on the guy's face. You can see him sad. He shows he's crying. He's wearing a cloth that's he's even wearing an English clothes. I mean, that's how much of what I've uh, India abroad has done to us. I mean, how many times do we wear our own clothes these days? It's rare, because if I'm going out and I'm not suited up, why won't I even be suited up? Because I mean, we are practically copying the white man's principles. So that darkness, if you see, is mainly seated in that dark place. That dark place, the Africans. And if you look at the dandelion, we can say that okay, he shot at that, because we didn't know he shot sighted here, but we can see that he's painted with black too. He's also in a dark place. The boy, however, even though the dandelion's illustration is in black, the boys, the moment the dandelion is still black, but the boy, there is a rainbow and it shows light. Like, we see the boy's face. This can be depicted to how he helps the boy to find his way home. Clarity. Now, it means that the two of them need to come together. Okay, I think that would speak more in the next illustration. So he's also in a dark place. He is a rainbow. The boy is seeing him as a rainbow, but in actual fact, he is in a confused and dejected state too. However, they coming together, there's a little ray of light, there's a little bit of light. We know it's a walking rainbow, right? But the light, of course, there's still a little dark place. Do you get? Even from the boy's end, but there is light, just a little. Do you get? The boy is still crying, but then there is that. Now look at the next illustration where they are all playing. All darkness disappears. Wait, we get a clearer picture of the boy and the walking rainbow, and that's and there is light everywhere apart from other animals. That's okay, chicken, even the monkeys. You see, the monkeys came and they were, "Ah, what happened?" Say, don't worry, man, the boys are talking. Their connection brings about light. We can now see them clearly. We can now see the picture of the dandelion. We can see the different colors. We can see the red. We can see the green. We can see the lemon. We can see the smile on the dandelion. Can you see how excited the dandelion is? Can you see the way the boy is listening? Can you see what can happen when we as Africans, whether in diaspora or in African country, can you see what can happen when we come together? There will be light. These are the things I want to working on. I work on the plot of the text. That the plot is more or less like a summary of the story. Then the setting, that's a temporal and a spatial setting. The tone, the mood, and then the literary devices. As the story is a metaphor from the title, the dandelion and the lost boy. It's not just metaphorical, it's also paradoxical in the sense that you won't even really think that it has deeper meaning, and that's why it is an allegory, because an allegory usually have more than one meaning, where we have the surface meaning, which that surface meaning we can now the whole story we can make it the whole story can be for children, because it's sweet. It has end rhymes, and it's actually very sweet for kids. Do you understand? And then it is not the deeper meaning that is for adults, and that's why the beginning of the story says it is for children. It's a children's book for readers aged 2 to 182, and that is interesting to me too. That means it's for everybody. So like I said, wait, I stop. Okay, it's the story, the Pandy Lion and the Lost. But first of all, the moment I read, I knew that okay, yeah, I was searching for Pandy Lion, and then I said, okay, it's a panda and a lion. Before I even went through the book and found out, okay, it's a panda and a lion. And when I look at, a panda is a calm, a panda is usually calm. A panda is a panda represents peace, and then a lion represents fierceness, something that someone that is fierce. So a pandy lion is both, like, so sometimes we can, it's a combination of both, and we can be peaceful and we can be fierce. But um, the developed countries see Africans as violence, they see us as violent people. But then we can actually be both, depending on the side that you want. And then I feel like, so the story lampoons African society through the eyes of the lost boy and the pandy lion. And the truth is that these two people are both lost. And the pandy lion is trying to help the lost boy, but is unknown to him, is also lost. And the lost boy could represent Africans. Okay, this is the way Africans who have plans of traveling out. They've seen the, okay, this country cannot, it's not, it can't be better. So they are dejected, they are sad, and they have a, I will call it a loss of sense, a loss of the mind, no madness now, but a loss of the mind, in the sense that you are in a you are home, but home seems not to be working. Home seems like a graveyard to you, so you are lost and you are crying. So I will look at, when you are lost, what happens? You become depressed, and then you can, this is the plight of youth, Nigerian youth today, and everybody wants to japa. So I see that mound of sand as the bridge between you japa and you thinking that abroad life is the best, and you trying to stay and make things work in Nigeria. Okay, so our, and then it also those complain about the situation of the African continent. And the boy is also lost within himself, and is a loss based on mindset. We're actually lost because I've met people who feel that Nigeria can never, they practically say it can never be better again, and Nigeria is still better than some other African countries. Now imagine what those people in those African countries would be saying. Now, the walking rainbow actually recognized the little boy, and the fact that the walking rainbow came to the little boy first, and so there is a connection, there's a form of connect. These people can interact, they know themselves, they know that most likely they say there's a saying, blood is thicker than water. So there is a connect, which is the fact that they've lost their roots, they have the same challenge. The boy lost his way. The party lion does not even know his roots. There was a place he was saying that he was roaring. Okay, when he said he was roaring, and everybody, they ran away from him, and doesn't know his family. That shows that okay, we have so much strength, and then people feel that you should not have that strength. They see your strength. I'm trying to put it rightly, the way it's coming to, like, they they are scared of your strength, and well, they probably just leave you. So the president doesn't know his roots, and so he comforts the boy with the food parcel. And I see the food parcel as something that represents the good things in the abroad life. What actually entices us is the life there, and the parcel is just something that would feed him for that particular moment. So he is satisfied with little. To me, it is little or nothing. I mean, they give you a food parcel every time you want to eat, you have to keep requesting for a food parcel. Do you understand? So it's the goody goody of the abroad life, and decide, and it also helps the boy chicken. So he only gets what can feed him. Okay, I will call it peanuts with different designs, like designs with red flowers and all. And that's like a reward for his works. I'm talking about him, and he's satisfied with it. And somehow he was saying, you humans, you people, blah blah blah. It shows it feels higher. Do you get? It shows that it feels higher than the boy. I mean, of course, he has so many colors, and that's represent people of different colors. We're already mixed, so Africans are also, we have different colors. I don't know if you get it. Okay, so then the boy now asks where the panda lion is from, and then the panda lion is like, he instead of answering that, okay, I'm from so he starts telling the boy stories. He says, I'm a lion and I am a panda. He's good at climbing trees, and his laughter makes echoes, and his color also changes, his attribute changes, and is a shade of many colors. It means that we're actually obviously we are of many colors in Africa, but well, we don't actually know. And then even within Africans, we don't still love ourselves. And the boy, and then remember, he's short-sighted. The panda lion is short-sighted. He can't see far. He didn't see the boy at first until his cry woke him up. Okay, so the boy goes home, and it is ironic that the panda lion, even though he's lost, comforts the boy and tells him to go home. And home, although started as a symbol of despair, becomes a symbol of hope. Home, he sees a rainbow, and that shows hope too. And it means that we should go back to home. Home is you. Home is me. Home is love. Home is respecting the African heritage. Okay, so I've picked some figures of speech. We have personification, where he's talked about the personification. There is onomatopoeia, there are onomatopic expression, there's alliteration, there's assonance, definitely. And what else? I'm just trying to give you what I've done, what I'm still working on so far. And they are written, but then I feel like saying it, okay, there's simile, and there's wordplay. And then I'm personally in love. I said I'm in love with the illustrations. I'm in love with the illustrations. I love the illustrations so much. I mean, it will entice children. I have a baby, and she has been all about the illustrations and the book and everything. I love uh, the cover page. It's awesome. It's quite awesome. And I like the fact that you have to think before you understand, you get a deeper picture, and that's the job of a literary critic. I love the fact that you have to really think deeper, and then you can actually give it any meaning of your choice, any meaning you like. This is what I'm coming up with, because I mean there is African land, so you will know, okay, this is a story about Africa. Thank you. About Africa. Thank you. So I was saying, okay, I was talking about the plot before I digressed. So the plot, the story of a boy who was lost in a magical forest, and also found by a fascinating creature who helped him find his way home. While in the forest, the creature and the lost boy become friends, and they both discuss various intimate issues. In the end, the Pandalion practically takes the boy, or helps him find his way home. But I wrote the Pandalion helps the lost boy find his way home. And then in chapter one, the boy meets the Pandalion, who the boy meets the Pandalion, or they both meet. And then the Pandalion, he describes the Pandalion as a walking rainbow, and they begin to relate. While relating, the Pandalion offers the boy food. And as they discuss, the boy asks, how is it possible for the panda lion to understand him? And the panda lion informs the boy that he actually speaks various languages, with the fact that this various language is also symbolic. I'll discuss that later. He speaks various languages, and he understands, and including that of human, that of animals, and even birds. Bird is an animal anyways. And then chapter 2 and 3, the boy asks the pandalion where his food comes from. And this is because the pandalion offers the boy food. And the Pandalarian responds that food parcels are usually brought for him, and the boy is just a representative of every child that you've come across. They would practically ask you, why why is this color blue? So that relates to children a lot. Mommy, why is this called book? So that's just how the paddy lion is the boy is so inquisitive. And so where does it get from? It says that they bring food for him, and then now asks that, who are you? The paddy lion asks, I mean the boy asks paddy lion, who are you? And then this is where the paddy lion lets the audience and even us know that he says he's a lion and he's a panda. He does not mention his name. He's a nameless creature. And then he mentions some of his attributes that he knows. That he says he climbs tree like a salamander. This is in chapter 2 and 3. And together he climbs tree like a salamander. He says that he also tells the boy that when he laughs, it makes an echo, and he speaks about his different colors. He talks about the gray, the red. He says his colors are like a chameleon, and then he has counted like 70 million colors, which is also symbolic. And then please help me to ask the author, 70 million, his own symbol of those 70 million colors. He says, I've counted 70 million. He talks about his lion's mane. He goes when he's angry. He he goes from he changes color to red and all. And then he also has that a pan lion loves to play. These are just his features, his character, just practically telling us about himself. A pan lion loves to play, and then that he has played with different animals, including birds, monkeys, and then this is where we get to know that he has a poor eyesight, which is symbolic. He has a poor vision, which is symbolic, and he confesses the fact that the thing is when you're talking about plot, you just tell the story normally. So this is a chapter by chapter summary of the plot of the story, because I feel like people will not capture it enough if you just tell them a magical forest and all. Okay. So the lion has a poor sight, and he confesses to the father. He did not even say the boy, but hears the boy's cry when he goes to meet the boy. And then he tells us in this same chapter how he got lost while playing with a butterfly, which is please very symbolic. Okay, so let's say please now. So I title what I wrote here as the title of the work. I titled it Beyond the Surface, a study of symbolism in the Pandalion and the Lost Boy. Beyond the Surface, colon, a study of symbolism. I'm hoping that I'll just finish it up and practically probably send it if you don't mind anyway. So a study of symbolism, Pandalion and the Lost Boy. Okay, so it tells us that his friends left him because according to his friend, his Raphael surprises them. I want us to know that everything in the book is symbolic. And then I have another question for the author. There is a kind of deviation he employs when he wants to use flower. When he wants to write flower, he writes F plus 2 and this thing. I gave it an interpretation, but then I want to hear from him. So if you would listen to this on time, I would just like you to help me. That's a deviation. I don't know why I'm digressing. The book is written it's basically in the middle, and that is center is at the center of the page. And I'll just say that Africans are just everywhere. For first, Africans are at the center of what civilization, that we're at the receiving end. You see, in the Berlin Conference, in the partitioning of Africa, these people came and they saw that this place will provide raw materials for their growth. So before they started with slave trade, chicken, and then they saw that Africans, we have the raw material. They didn't have it there. They didn't. They still don't. But I'm going to just choose my words correctly. God helping me. So we have the raw materials, and they came first, took us. We were practically serving them, slaving for them. Then we are still doing that because in my field now, in every field, they will come and say, this person is smart, then take you. And before you still get to the top there, it will take time. So we actually, I think there's a way I put it. I will look for, I will check it when I'm done. That's why the center of the world. We are the center of world civilization. So we're in the middle. And when you're in the middle of something, it's like you're being played like a ball in a circle. And in the end, if someone keeps using, you would be useless in the end, and the person will be stuffed out, and there will be nothing left of such a material. This is their plan. But the meeting point of the panny lion and the lost boy, and the fact that he goes back home, will not allow it to work. Okay, so sorry I digress. I'll just come back to the plot. Okay, so the panelier tells us how his friends left him because according to him, is the roars of his friend frightened him, and then he never even knew he had a roar. And then they tried to let it look like because you roar, kinoko. Sorry, I'm saying kiniko. And then he mentions how his new friends, including monkeys, adopted him and all. Now, I'm just going to talk about this later because it's a picture. Yeah, I would really like to ask the writer about this. When you stay with your stepmom and they tell you your mommy is wicked. The stories you've heard, the negative stories. And then in the end, if you end up hating your mom, nobody would blame you. So he actually practically has a kind of disgust for Africa because he says that it's a monkey that adopted him. And also, let me know, just go to chapter 4, and while discussing, the panel knows that he sees that it is late and offers to take the boy home. The boy, climbs up on his shoulders and they journey home. The panel tells the boy to, he tells the boy the path to follow. It takes him to a particular place and then tells him the path to follow. Okay, and this is where they both eat together, and okay, it says it should okay, they've eaten. It says that don't tell anyone you ate with the dandelion chickens because nobody will believe you. But he also says that tell them that the walking rainbow showed you the way. The walking rainbow showed you the way. Please. Okay, so in chapter 5, it is in this chapter that the pandlion asks for the boy's name. This is where we get it. But after he's not even after they've met. After he is on his way home, on his way to the place of hope. Home was first a place of despair, a place rejected. But now, the place of hope. The fact that there is light at the end of the tunnel. That is when we get to know Sunday's name. So he replies that, okay, the boy said that his name is Tunde, and then this is where we also get to know that the bandlion has been lost. Chickens, it doesn't have a name. The boy finally asked that, will he ever see the bandlion again? President respond that is the only okay. He says, will he ever see his parent again? I'll just be fast. Says he's the only pandelion and all. The boy wakes up at home in chapter 6, and a dumble rainbow in the sky catches his attention. He remembers, um, he remembers the path that brought him home forever, as well as his encounter with the pandelion, and he continues to take food parcels for his friends. So that's just the plot for his friends. So that's just the plot. Okay, so that's just that on the plot. The setting, the story is set in the setting has to do with the place and the time of a particular event. And then the story is set in a magical Nigerian forest where a boy makes friends with animals and a fascinating creature who help him find his way home. Chapter 1 through chapter 4 is set in that magical forest. Chapter 5 is just the journey, so it's set on the journey why they are on their way, why the bandit is trying to show him his path. And chapter 6 is set in Tunde's home. So, um, I was talking about the illustrations earlier, and then we could see color green. That's when they met. Just meeting, as a ray of light, even when the boys on the dandelions back and all. Okay, so but the part that the one of the illustrations that really come out is page 31. That's why the boy, that's page 30, why the boy is on Pandayan's back. He sees a full moon and he points at it, and that symbolizes hope. Like the path to we going home, the path to us going back to our heritage, us coming together, leads to a full moon, leads to hope. And then he now sees, before he didn't see a double rainbow before. The last illustration, he sees a double rainbow, and this now confirms that definitely you see different colors coming together. There is light at the end of the tunnel, and Africans will rise again.